Welcome to the Psychic Cowgirl podcast, where intuition meets ranch life, practical meets the magical, and where a little ranch cowgirl sass is always included at no extra charge. I am the sassy psychic cowgirl, and where your inner knowing gets a microphone. I'm your host, Shannon Lackman, the psychic cowgirl. I'm here to help you create awareness, tune in, and reconnect with the infinite wisdom you've had access to all along. This is your time and space to breathe, to settle, and to explore the energy, guidance, and perhaps some cosmic nudges that are shaping your world. I invite you to pull up a seat, take a nice grounding breath in, hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it, and release. And let's ride into the heart of what the universe would like you to know. Welcome to the magic. How is everybody doing? I always feel that's a bit of a loaded question, right? We're all dealing with some sort of mayhem or chaos, as well as delight and joy. We're experiencing it all, and I feel like becoming aware of where you're putting the most time, attention, and energy will help you to shift, perhaps to release, and to make sure you're inviting in more positive experiences than challenges. I realize it's a crapshoot. I realize we just don't know what's going to happen. But I also know we can choose how we want to handle things. I want to talk a little bit about soul and spirit. Everyone has a soul. Everyone has a spirit. We can look at it like two companions riding the same trail together. Our soul is pure, untouchable essence. It's ever clear, ever kind, and ever connected to the divine. Perhaps like gold buried beneath still water, shining with unconditional love that never changes, and sparkling. But the spirit is different. Your spirit is shaped by the winds you've ridden through, the storms you've experienced, the ground you've walked. It carries the colors and the energies of your life experiences. A spirit can be bold and dominant, or gentle and soft. It can be open and forgiving, or tense and guarded. Your spirit is the energetic expression you bring into the world, influenced by your body, your thoughts, your emotions, and everything you've lived. Fascinating, right? So if we look at our soul energy, it's always connected to that infinite intelligence. Always. And then our spirit is affected by our living experiences right here, right now, our world, our thoughts, our emotions. And this is where the choice can come in, and we can call it a spiritual choice on how to handle things, process challenges, but also be in joy when it's happening. So energy is always moving, always transforming, perhaps like a river flowing across the plains or the lovely creek that goes through my property at spring thaw. Love it. And because energy moves, we can learn to work with it, right? We can train it, we can reshape it, we can refine our spirit rather than being ruled by old patterns. Now, I think this is key, and this is why I wanted to talk about this today. Because we can be ruled by old patterns. We do what we do kind of unconsciously. And if we can throw some awareness energy at that, then we can say to ourselves, I am going to handle this differently. I am going to try this. I'm going to do an energy experiment and try not engaging and try trusting. I will give you an example in a minute of something that I'm working with and I'm trying to approach it differently. And I got to tell you, it's not easy. I am struggling with it a little, but I'm also seeing a pattern with some things going on in my life. And I think, okay, I think I need to approach this differently so that I can get a result that I want or that I'm comfortable with, or perhaps I just need to make peace with. Not sure yet. It's a work in progress. My example is I realize right now I'm having lessons on boundaries and lessons on not having to solve things myself, letting other people take the reins and do what they're good at doing, do their thing, and me not micromanage, not try to jump in and fix it. But with that, there's energy threads of things being undone, unclear, and I have to have patience. Sometimes that is really hard. So I am changing my pattern on this. I like to solve the problems. I like to wrap things up. I like to have things energetically clear and concise. But I'm going through some things where it's not that way. And some of it is pretty muddy. Some of it kind of made me very sad. I am blessed that I have my energy clearing program that I can do though, because I put in all the details and I created myself an energy program with what I thought was happening. And I was really hoping I was mistaken, but I wasn't. And I had to clear a whole bunch of psychic attacks. Now, I know that psychic attacks are not necessarily personal, but they sure do feel personal. And I think one of my lessons is to process, shift, release all the energy, not try to solve it, not try to fix it. Let it be what it needs to be and honor the experience. And some days it's easy and some days it's really not. Good thing I have tools. I had to do a great big energy clearing on it and the number was huge. And it was not nice. It wasn't. At the same time, I'm not going to go down the road of trying to figure it out because I don't think I can, because I wouldn't necessarily operate that way. But again, I also understand there's two sides to everything, and I don't know all the details of what's going on with the other parties involved. And I realize I don't need to know that this is not up to me to fix, but it is up to me to experience it. Whether I like it or I don't like it, it is still happening and I'm experiencing it. So, what I can do is shift my energies. And I had to do quite a few, and they were all very big, significant energy shifts. And I'm like, okay. I did feel significantly lighter and happier, though. So, yay on that part. Do I like that I'm experiencing this? Of course not. But can I make peace with it? Yes. Is it a work in progress? Yes. Not everything is ours to solve and fix. Again, sometimes it's simply an experience so that we can learn and grow. We don't have to like it, but it does happen, right? And once I could change my pattern with that by shifting energies, releasing energies, gaining a different perspective, a fresh perspective, awareness in a different way, I was able to trust and not try to solve it. It irritates me. I'm not going to lie about that because I do want to solve it. I just want it wrapped up, done, but that's not the energy of this. And I have to figure out how to be okay with that. Uncertainty is just really hard in our life, isn't it? But I also know that no matter how this plays out, it's divinely designed and it's going to be okay. I choose to trust that. So we can think of this as spiritual refinement, like perhaps clearing a trail or rinsing mud when we're wading through a stream. Imagine a lake lined with gold at the bottom. When the water is clear, the treasure shines bright. When the water is muddy, the gold is still there. We just can't see it. The gold never moved, only the water changed. The gold is your soul, steady, radiant, and always whole. Every looping memory, every heavy story, every stuck emotion is like a swirl of dirt in that lake. It doesn't harm the gold, it just hides it for a while. To be free in spirit is to let the water settle and clear, to loosen attachments to old stories and patterns, soften the grip on old pain, and let things pass through rather than lodge inside. Acknowledge and let go. And when the water clears, what remains? The warm, quiet glow of your soul, unconditional love, open-hearted joy, and a simple happiness that doesn't need a reason. Then life feels different. To have is a joy, and not to have is a joy. To feel strong is a joy, and to feel tender is a joy. That is true freedom of spirit. Joy is in the language of the heart. Unconditional love flows from the heart, and the heart is the home of the soul. So the real questions become, how do we come back to this freedom? How do we release what we're holding too tightly? How do we refine our spirit so our soul can shine? We work through it. We process, we shift, and release. We are always refining our spirit as we get to know ourselves a little more. Some of it we like, some of it we don't, but it's all us, and we are enough, and we need to be kinder to ourselves, but also be willing to do the awareness part. I came, I became aware of some patterns where I just want to fix it. But in this circumstance, that feels like forcing something that is not going to be. And I'm not going to force myself into situations where I might not be wanted. I'm not going to force fixes that I don't actually need to do, that it's not in energetic alignment with me. I do know what's going to happen. I just don't know how the details are going to get worked out. And the beauty is, I can let myself off the hook and acknowledge that I do not need to know, that I can let this journey unfold. I'll follow all the leads that are presented to me, but I don't need to be forcing anything. I don't need to be rehaving conversations that I've already had. I get to let it go. The trail will take me where it's supposed to take me. There's peace in that, even if sometimes it does feel bumpy, very, very bumpy. But we do have this, and it will be okay. And when it gets too bumpy, I just go wander through the cow herd. Sometimes they're even feisty. They're picking fights with each other and being all rammy. It's like, hey, ladies, really? Is that necessary? Is it? Sometimes it is, I think. Sometimes we're just annoyed. I need to find a way to vent it out. We have like really warm temperatures here, which means ice. So I have to wear cleats on my shoes, which does make me concerned about the cows and their babies staying intact, but so far it seems okay. Everybody tiptoes, everybody walks gently and softly, and maybe that's what we need right now. Maybe that's our lesson collectively. We need to soften. We need to walk gently. Everything feels icy, slippery, out of our control. Focus on the things that you can fix, but that feel good in your heart and soul and feel solid. Be aware of what you're forcing. Be aware of what's no longer in alignment. Part of the journey. Often the bumpy part, but it is part of the journey. Sometimes the feisty part of our spirit wants to be out more. Maybe we're angry, maybe we're frustrated, which reminds me that's the energy clearing that I'm doing this week because there's a lot of that. Actually, I apologize. It's not anger and frustration. It's actually anger and betrayal. There's a lot. And so we are going to shift and release that Thursday evening so we can move forward with clarity and confidence and just shifting it, even if we only shift a little chunk at a time. It's okay and it works. Energy clearing is amazing. And it never ceases to delight me because sometimes I will get all bogged down, like I said, and then I have to either create myself a new energy clearing or do one of them that I already have. And the difference it makes, I go from snarling and cranky and stomping around to joyful and light and smiling more. It's a true story. That's exactly what happens. And if you'd like to experience that magic, reach out to me I am clutter clearing my website right now, so it's on maintenance mode, and I will just follow the energies and finish it when I finish it. It's probably going to go live today later, but I don't know. Things are things happen quickly, and we will be okay, but man, is life messy. Okay. On that note, the guided imagery I have for you today is called The Clearing of the Lake, Refining the Spirit. Delightful, right? All right, here we go. Nice. Let's start. I invite you to let your body be supported completely by whatever is beneath you. Take a slow breath in and release. No rush. Allow your eyes to close gently when you're ready. Just notice your breath for a moment, not trying to change it, simply witnessing it. Being and breathing, breathing and being, giving yourself the gift of this time and space. With each exhale, imagine or feel your body softening just a little more, like a warm light slowly spreading through your muscles and every cell. Your shoulders loosen, your jaw releases, your brow smooths. You don't need to go anywhere special. You simply need to arrive here, inside yourself. Now visualize or imagine, or simply sense that you are standing at the edge of a vast, quiet lake. This is not a dramatic place. It is peaceful, spacious, and safe. The air feels gentle, steady, supportive. You don't have to see the lake perfectly. You may feel it, sense it, or just know it is there. What matters is the feeling of stillness. Take a breath and notice your reflection on the water. Not your face, but your energy, your presence, your spirit. Notice how calm or how stirred the water appears right now. No judgment, only awareness. As you stand beside this lake, begin to understand something quietly. You have a soul and you have a spirit. Your soul is pure, untouched, ever present, like gold resting at the bottom of this lake. It does not change. It does not get damaged. It does not need fixing. It simply is. Your soul is the part of you that is always kind, always connected, always rooted in love. It is the quiet, radiant center of your being. Now, notice the water above the gold. The water represents your spirit. Your spirit moves. Your spirit carries the color of your life. Your spirit holds memories, emotions, experiences, joys, and sorrows. Sometimes your spirit is clear and bright. Sometimes cloudy or heavy, and that is human. Notice the surface of the lake again. If the water is stirred, the gold is harder to see, but the gold is still there. If the water is calm, the gold shines beautifully through. This meditation is not about changing your soul. It is about refining your spirit so your soul can naturally be seen and felt more clearly. I invite you to take another slow breath. As you exhale, imagine the wind gently calming over the lake. Ripples begin to soften. Movement slows, and the water grows still. Calm and serene. Now, visualize, imagine, picture, or feel tiny particles of dirt dust and debris floating in the water. Each particle represents an old memory, a looping story, a past hurt, an emotional blockage, a belief you've outgrown, but you do not need to chase them. Simply allow them to begin drifting downward, settling to the bottom like snow quietly falling through water. With each breath, more clarity emerges. The water becomes clearer, lighter, more transparent. And there, beneath the surface, the gold of your soul glows more brightly. You do not need to force this. Clarity comes naturally when you soften. Now, I invite you to sense that some of the murkiness in the water comes from attachments, old stories you keep holding, old identities you keep wearing, old pain you keep carrying. Not because you are weak, but because you learned how to survive. Place one hand gently over your heart. Feel your heartbeat. Steady, gentle, present. In your own mind, silently say, I am willing to release what no longer serves me. Again, I am willing to release what no longer serves me. One more time. I am willing to release what no longer serves me. Imagine now that anything heavy begins to loosen, not ripped away, but gently unclasped, like fingers slowly opening to release something you no longer need to hold. Feel a sense of lightness spreading through your chest, your belly, your spine. With each breath, the lake grows clearer, your spirit grows softer, your heart grows more open. Now look again at the lake. Notice how much clearer it feels. You may see the gold more vividly, or you may simply feel its presence in your heart. As the water clears, something beautiful happens. Joy arises, not because anything changed externally, but because your true nature is shining through. This is not excitement. It is calm happiness, gentle contentment, quiet love. In this energy, you realize something important. To have can be a joy, and not to have can be a joy. To feel strong can be a joy, and to feel tender can be a joy. Because joy is no longer dependent on circumstances, it comes from your open heart. I'm going to let you soak that energy in for a little bit. Breathe that all in and let it wash through your body like warm light. I invite you to place both hands over your heart now, if you aren't already doing that. Feel the warmth there, the steadiness, the clarity. Silently affirm, my spirit is clear, my heart is open, my soul shines through. Know that you can return to this lake anytime. Anytime you feel overwhelmed, confused, or heavy, you can imagine standing here again, letting the water settle and remembering your goal. I invite you now to bring your awareness back to your body. Feel the surface beneath you. Notice the room around you. Wiggle your fingers. Wiggle your toes. Take one slow breath in and one slow breath out. When you're ready, gently open your eyes, carrying this clarity, softness, and self-compassion with you. You got this. Let your soul shine bright and know that your spirit is refined and aligned. Say your first name out loud if you're not quite back to the room. That will bring you back immediately. Delightful, right? In a world full of interesting adventures, and sometimes the challenges can feel heavy, you know that you can come back to this meditation and realign yourself. We're living in interesting times. And if your spirit needs to be a little feisty, that is a-okay. But with self-awareness comes the knowing of when it's time to be like that, and you do have to step up and fight, and when it's time to simply trust and see where it goes. I do struggle with that myself sometimes. I want things solved and resolved. I don't like undone energy, and I have to have patience. And sometimes a good stomp through my cow pasture helps. It really, really does. So, on that note, I wish you all a blessing and that positive experiences come your way and that you recognize them and enjoy that energy. Big hugs until next time. Thank you for riding along on today's journey. If this episode sparked clarity, comfort, or a little magic, I'd love for you to share it with someone who may need it. Remember, your intuition is a knowing, a synchronicity, a sign, an awareness, a soul connection. And every time you pause, soften, breathe, and tune in, you strengthen that connection. You can find more Psychic Cowgirl magic, guidance, energy support, and grounded intuitive tools over on my website or social media. Once my website's back online, of course. Until next time, friends, stay brave, stay grounded, stay curious, and keep trusting that wisdom that you have access to. The trail ahead is guided. You're never riding it alone. Bye.